Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund and AAA Minneapolis.
The new school year is right around the corner, and that means thousands of young people are getting ready to live on their own, many in off-campus housing. Edina Police Officer Beau Schoenhard spoke with Edina Fire Marshal Hammerschmidt about the little things you can do to make sure your home is safe in case of a fire.
Thank you, Brian. I'm here today at Fire Station 1 with Fire Marshal Hammerschmidt. How are you today, Rick?
Doing really good. How about you, Beau?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good.
We're here today to talk about off-campus fire safety for college students.
Okay.
What are some of the things that students should be looking for as they're moving into their new campus property?
Well, you know, there's different kinds of campus properties. If they're moving into an off-site campus property, you know, they want to make sure that, hey, is the property licensed for them to rent? Because basically that's what they're doing. And then is the property inspected annually? We want to make sure that the property has working smoke alarms in every bedroom, working smoke alarms on every level of the home. We want to make sure that they have working carbon monoxide alarms within 10 feet of the sleeping areas. Other things we look for, we want to make sure that all the appliances are plugged into receptacles. They're not using extension cords. We also want to make sure that the windows and doors work properly. They open freely, they close freely. Things like the locks on the doors, we want to make sure that if they have deadbolt locks, that they're thumb-turned deadbolts and they're not have to use a key to get out of the property.
When I think of fire safety, rudimentary, I just think of cords laying everywhere, and,
Sure.
and kids are plugging all sorts of things into a receptacle and kind of stringing them out. But things that create fires in off-campus, what are some other things that create fires? What are some of the leading causes of fires off-campus?
One of the leading causes is unattended cooking. It still is one of the leading causes. But things that happen in college campuses that we hear about is impairment. Students will cook. Sometimes they may go to a party and have alcohol, so that can be a severe problem. You know, other things like smoking, smoking inside, smoking outside, how they discard those smoking materials. You know, other big things are candles. Candles is another big thing that, you know, they light the candles, the aesthetics is great, but then they leave them unattended. Or sometimes, I remember my daughter going to college, and when we went to her room, she had candles on shelves and they had nice drapery, and we're like, oh, we can't have that. So we got her battery operated candles. So if you want candles, the battery ones are the best, they're the safest. But again, you know, then also, like you had mentioned, electrical extension cords. They want to make sure that extension cords are mainly used for temporary use. They need to use power strips, things like that.
So you mentioned that a lot of the things are same in your home as well as off campus. There's a lot of similarities.
Mm-hmm.
And one very simple thing, just like home and with kids, is to have a plan. Can you speak about that a little bit?
Yeah, great. That's really important. Yeah, having a plan to exit the home, know your exits, and then have a meeting place. That's really big. What happens in fires is there's a lot of confusion. So by having a plan and having a meeting place, that way, you know, their roommates, when they exit the home, they know that they're out of the home. They won't go back in trying to look for them. So that's really important. Also, keep doors closed as much as possible at nighttime when you leave. That way, if a fire happens to start in a room, that's going to contain it there for some time and allow people to get out of the home.
Well, Rick, thank you very much for talking to me today about fire safety.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Brian, back to you in the studio.
If you have questions about fire safety, please reach out to Fire Marshal Hammerschmidt or any of the Edina Fire Department staff.